Hey, what's up, people? It is Reaper here, and today we are coming in with my review for the Disney Plus series Andor. Now, without wasting any time, let's get right into this. Some of the things I liked about the show was number one, just the character of Andor. He is quickly becoming one of my favorite Star Wars characters. He gives off Han Solo vibes, and Han Solo's like my second favorite, only being beat by Obi-Wan Kenobi, because how can he not be your favorite? Now, this show is super good. If you guys have not watched it, you should definitely go and check it out and put this video in your watch later list so that you can watch it after without having any spoilers. But it is super amazing. And the length is really good. It's 12 episodes, which I really like because a lot of Disney Plus series have been 6 episodes, maybe a little more than that. And I'm one of the people who really likes longer seasons of TV shows. I understand why they don't make them 20 anymore because of streaming services and not having filler episodes. You really can't have them that long anymore. However, I do like 12. I think 12 to 15 is a good length and what a TV show should be. Now, one of the things I really liked about this show is the fact that there's no lightsabers. Star Wars without lightsabers is awesome. I really hope we get to see more of that part of the universe. It's very gritty, it's very grounded, and I love all of it. I mean, that scene in the first episode where Andor is fighting with those two Empire guys and he kills them and then they're kind of fighting for control of the gun, it is wild. I love that scene to death. Some of the best parts of the show would be the heist sequence where Andor kind of links up with that group of rebels and they take down the Empire's paycheck, basically, whatever you want to call it. Huge payload filled with tons of money, and they hit the Empire where it hurts the most, which is their pockets. I really love that they did that. The whole sequence was amazing, and I hope we get to see more of that. The other part that I really liked was the entire prison sequence. Now, usually in Star Wars, whenever somebody gets detained or locked up in a prison or held captive, it's pretty much just a waiting game to see either A, when is this person going to use the Force and break out of it, or B, when is this person going to get saved by the other protagonist? This has happened almost every time, especially in the Clone Wars. This happens a lot. So it was really cool seeing Andor have to work with the other prisoners and actually use his smarts and use a lot of planning to break out of this because he's not a Jedi, he's not a Force user, and he had nobody there backing him up. Pretty much everybody else in the show wanted him dead at that point, so there was nobody on the outside that could have helped him. It was amazing. And on top of that, I really liked Andy Serkis's character. Kino was his name. They kind of left the ending of his character a little open, so I'm really hoping we get to see more of him in season 2. Another thing I really liked about the show is how they utilize the Empire. The whole vibe that the Empire gives off is super corporate and doesn't care about human life, but also just super stuck up. So much to the point where they ignore things that most people would think of because they're so stuck up that they can't imagine somebody like Andor would be able to break through the ranks. I mean, they talked about that in the first few episodes of the show, but I really liked how they kind of put that vibe out there. I also really liked the two main characters that they showed in the Empire, that being Cyril, I think I'm saying that right, and Deidre. Both of those characters are super interesting, and I can't wait to see how they're utilized in season 2. And it seems like they have a weird little romance thing going on. That'll be funny to watch. I also really love the character of Luthen because he kind of shows that in a war, there's two sides, obviously, but not either side is completely right or wrong. He does a lot of morally questionable stuff, a lot of stuff that, kind of puts the whole perspective of maybe all the rebels aren't so good of people. I really like that they're doing that. It kind of builds more into the show's vibe that it's very dark and gritty, and it shows the parts of war that we haven't seen in most other Star Wars projects, and I really like that. I also just like that actor a lot. He was Eric Selvig on Thor and the Avengers. Really like what he's doing with the role. I can't wait to see what he does in the future. I also really like the dynamic that he had with Saw Gerrera. It's kind of like he's turning Saw more into the radical version that we see in Rogue One, because it seems like he's, for the most part, a pretty moral and a pretty good rebel, but it's seeming like he's starting to listen to what more of Luthen is saying for the greater good, and he's going to kind of turn into the Saw that we see in Rogue One. But this show isn't perfect, and neither is any show, so let's talk about some of the negatives. First and foremost, this show started off a bit slow. It's kind of a slow burn, which I personally don't hate, but it was really slow. Too slow in my opinion. And I think that's what put a lot of people off from watching it. I saw an article saying that pretty much nobody's watching Andor. It's not getting good ratings. And I think if you can get past the first 3 episodes, the rest of the show is so much better. It is one of the best live action Star Wars shows that we've gotten out of Disney Plus, and it really sucks to see that people aren't watching it because it's so good. You guys do not know what you're missing out on. The second negative, and this is the part of the show where I can also see why some people wouldn't want to watch it, Mon Mothma's entire story arc is completely boring. There's nothing interesting that ever happens with it. I don't even understand half of what's happening with it. I'll probably have to watch some breakdowns or something to understand what's going on. But it seems like the more boring parts of Star Wars where you get into the money side of things. Similar to like the episodes of the Clone Wars where they kind of deal with Padme and her trying to deal with the banking clan, or her trying to deal with this thing in the Senate. Like the parts of Star Wars that most people don't care about. But overall, I thought this show was amazing. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like I said before, I thought this is one of the best live action Star Wars shows that we've gotten on Disney Plus. I think it's really only beaten by The Mandalorian. But to be fair, we've had 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. We've only had 1 of this. So maybe by season 2, my opinion will change. But I really like what they're doing here. But with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. If you guys liked the video, please take a second of your time and hit the like button. It really helps out my channel and I appreciate it a bunch. If you guys want to see more of this type of content, hit the subscribe button to always keep up on what I'm doing. And leave a comment below about what you guys thought of the Andor series. Are you a fan of it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.